Good day, students. Welcome back to the class. This is my second video based on the chapter A House is Not a Home. Since we had read that a boy who has shifted to a new school is not feeling comfortable and he's missing his old school, and another tragedy occurred in his life when his house got burnt, everything got lost, and he was so much depressed in life that he wanted to die. And after this accident, next day he went to the school, and let us read what happens in the school. When I walked through what used to be my house after school that day, I was shocked to see how much damage there was. Whatever had not burned was destroyed by the water and chemicals they had used to put out the fire. So after attending the school, when the boy came back, he knowingly went to his burnt house. He wanted to see what damages have occurred to his house. And he was really shocked to see that nothing was left. Most of the things were burnt in the fire, and rest of the things were destroyed because lot of water has been poured on the house and lot of chemicals have been used to put out the fire. So whatever was left unburnt, that was destroyed by the water or the chemical. The only material things not destroyed were the photo albums, documents, and some other personal items that my mother had managed to heroically rescue. But my cat was gone and my heart ached for her. So everything destroyed in the fire except the things which his mother had saved from burning. She went into the house, brought out the things out and threw them on the in the lawn. Only those things were left, and those were the albums, documents, and some personal items. And the narrator thought about his cat finally, and he was really depressed that the cat has also gone, and he felt the pain of losing his favorite cat. There was no time to grieve. My mother rushed me out of the house. We would have to find a place to live, and I would have to go buy some clothes for school. So the life doesn't end with a accident. Accidents occur in life, but we have to survive. We have to push ourselves hard to move on. So here mother also pushes the boy out of the house. She said there is no time to grieve. There is no time to sit and cry. We have to start a new life. This was the message of the mother. And she pushed the boy, go out, mix up with the things, face the things boldly, and buy new clothes, buy new things for him. And they had to make some arrangements to live also because their house was burnt. So we had to borrow money from my grandparents because there was no credit cards, cash, or even any identification to be able to withdraw money from the bank. Everything had gone up to smoke. That week, the rubble that used to be our house was being cleared off the lot. So they were left with no money. So they had to borrow money from his grandparents. Whatever money they had in the house that was burnt or destroyed, and the rest of the money was deposited in the bank. And from withdrawing money from the bank, we need some card identity card or some credit card. Nothing was with them at that moment, so they had to borrow money from the grandparents, and they went out to buy things for themselves. And the debris, the remains of the house, they were cleared off by the crane or by the people fire department. Even though we had rented an apartment nearby, I would go over to watch them clear away debris. Hoping that my cat was somewhere to be found, she was gone. I kept thinking about her as that vulnerable little kitten. So they took a house, an apartment near their old house, so that they can easily keep a watch on their old house. And from there, the narrator used to see the work of removing the debris in hope that he would find his cat there, maybe alive or maybe dead. But it did not happen. She was gone. And he thought about this vulnerable little kitten. In the morning, when I would disturb her and get out of bed, she would tag along after me, climb up my robe, and crawl into my pocket to fall asleep. I was missing her terribly. So whatever the cat used to do with him in their normal days, he started thinking about those days, those activities of the cat, that every morning when he used to leave the bed, he would get up and disturb the cat first. The cat would uh, roam after him everywhere. It would climb up to his robe. Robe means the gown he used to wear, and it would go into his pocket and it would fall asleep. So he started missing his cat badly. It was it always seems that bad news spreads quickly, and in my case it was no different. Everyone in high school, including the teachers, was aware of my plight. I was embarrassed as if somehow I were responsible. What a way to start off at a new school. That was not the kind of attention I was looking for. So bad news spreads like fire, and everybody in the school, be it students, be it teachers, everybody came to know about this accident that had occurred with the narrator. And everybody started looking at him with sympathetic eyes, and the narrator was feeling embarrassed. He wanted a recognition in the school, but not in this way. He got the attention of others, but in a very pathetic manner. So he did not like this kind of sympathy or looks of the people towards him. The next day at school, people were acting even more strange than usual. I was getting ready for gym class at my locker. People were milling around me, asking me to hurry up. I thought it strange, but in the light of past few weeks, nothing would surprise me for me. The next day, when the narrator went to school, he found the behavior of the classmates a little bit stranger. Everybody wanted that he should go to the gym class immediately. Actually, they were trying to push him to the gym class. People were surrounding him and making him to be quick in changing his clothes and joining the gym class. And the narrator found their behavior quite strange. But so many strange things had occurred in his life so far that he was not surprised or he was not shocked, and he was expecting that anything can happen anytime. So it was nothing strange for him. It almost seemed that they were all trying to shove me into the gym. Then I saw why. There was a big table set up with all kinds of stuff on it just for me, and everybody just made him hurry up. And when he went into the gym room, he found that a big table was laid there, and on the table he found all the items which were required, which were needed uh, for for him. Means he had got clothes, books, bag, means everything that a boy, school going boy, needs. Everything was arranged and gifted to him by the classmates. So this was kind of a help from his classmates. They had taken up a collection and bought me some supplies, notebooks, and all kinds of different clothes, jeans, tops, sweatsuits. It was like Christmas. I was overcome by emotion. People who had never spoken to me before were coming up to me to introduce themselves. So see what a beautiful gesture of the students. They collected money and they bought so many things for the boy who was suffering so much. They bought clothes for him, they bought books and bag for him. So the narrator was overwhelmed with emotions. He became emotional by the means such a beautiful gesture of his classmates. People of his class, students of his class were coming to him. They were introducing themselves to the narrator, and the narrator was feeling really happy that he started believing in life, that now still there are some good thing in his life. So I got all kinds of invitations to their houses. Their genuine outpouring of concern really touched me. In that instant, I finally breathed a sigh of relief and thought for the first time that things were going to be okay. I made friends that day. So they all invited him and they offered all kind of help to him. They were showing concern towards him, and he was really touched by their nice gesture. And it was you can say a gush of fresh air in his life. And first time he started thinking positive in his life, because he has got support from his friends, from his classmates. So these are the he has started believing in relations now, that there are people around him whom he could make friends, whom he could means, involve them in his life, and he can bring his life back on the track. So a month later, I was at my house watching them rebuild it, but this time it was different. I wasn't alone. I was with two of my new friends from school. It took a fire for me to stop focusing on my feelings of insecurity and open up to all the wonderful people around me. Now I was sitting there watching my house being rebuilt when I realized my life was doing the same thing. So it has been month now. Their old house was demolished completely, and it was rebuilt. And he was sitting there and watching his house rebuilt. And he was not alone this time. He was sitting with two of his new friends, and it happens sometimes that something bad happens to bring something good in our life. So here a bad thing happened in his life. What was this bad thing? That his house got burned. But this this was a blessing in disguise. That after this accident, he got real true friends of life. So he got wonderful people in his life, and he started thinking in a positive way. Otherwise, he was a very depressed child. And now he realized that not only his house is being built, his life was also being built in this way. While we sat there on the curb planning my new bedroom, I heard someone walk up to me from behind and say, "Does this belong to you?" When I turned around to see who it was, I couldn't believe my eyes. A woman was standing there holding my cat. I leapt up and grabbed her out of the woman's arms. So one day he was sitting there on the pavement with his friends, and he was planning his new bedroom. Then some woman came to him. She was standing behind him and she asked, "Does this belong to you?" The narrator turned back to look who that woman was, and he was surprised to see that the woman was holding his lovely cat. He immediately jumped up from that place and took the cat from her arms and hugged the cat tightly. I held her close to me and cried into that beautiful orange fur. She purred happily. My friends were hugging me, hugging the cat, and jumping around. So finally, he got his cat back. That woman who was a stranger. She brought his cat back. The boy took the cat, hugged it tightly, started crying. Those were the tears of happiness. The cat was also happy. Friends were also happy. They were jumping, they were hugging each other, and it was a happy moment in his life. Apparently, my cat had been so freaked by the fire that she ran over a mile away. So it is clear that cat was she got afraid of the fire that day, and she started running from the house. Everybody wanted to save his or her life. Cat also tried to save its life, and it ran away from the house, and it ran and ran and ran. Her collar had our phone number on it, but our phones had been destroyed and disconnected. The author had written his phone number on the strap of the cat, but because of the fire, their connection of telephone line, they have been destroyed and they were disconnected. So the stranger lady must have tried to connect to them, but there was no connection because of the destruction of the house and the telephone connection also. This wonderful woman took her in and worked hard to find out whose cat it was. Somehow she knew this cat was loved and sorely missed. So she was a wonderful woman. She could keep the cat with her, or she could throw it out of her house, but she took pains to find out the real owner of the cat. And finally, she reached here. She might be knowing that the cat was loved by somebody so much and it was bitterly missed by somebody. So, as I sat there with my friends and my cat curled up in my lap, all the overwhelming feelings of loss and tragedy seemed to diminish. So he was sitting with his friends, with his cat, and he was so happy that since he has changed his school, he was full of means negative thoughts. He was counting his losses, but today he was counting his gains, his means whatever he has got in his life. So he was happy with this positivity in life. I felt gratitude for my life, my new friends, the kindness of a stranger, and the loud purr of my beloved cat. My cat was back, and so was I. So he was thankful to God. He showed his gratitude to God for giving him such a beautiful life in which he had good friends, who had kind strangers, and he had got his cat back, and he is coming back to life. So he was feeling very happy. And last sentence is my favorite, that is, my cat was back and so was I. Means life has come to him. Otherwise he wanted to die. At two places he mentioned in the chapter that he this was a dull life, he wanted to die, but now he has started taking interest in life. A positivity has come back to his life. So this is all about the chapter, students. Troubles occur in life. The life is a bumpy road. We go up and down, up and down, up and down. It is not a steady path for all of us, but we have to be patient, we have to be courageous, we have to face all situations boldly. This is the gist of the chapter. So, children, this is all about it. One moment. Thank you for today. Thank you. Bye bye.